You don't need to touch her to make her feel you. If your words carry the right energy, her heart will race, her breath will change, and her body will respond as if you're right there. Because the deepest intimacy doesn't start with your hands, it starts with how you speak to her soul when no one's watching. You want her to open up for you, not just emotionally, but physically, sexually, without you even being there. Then you have to understand something most men never do. Women don't open their legs because of your looks, your bank account, or your promises. They open themselves when they feel mentally disarmed, when their guard is down, and their imagination is up. You see, a woman's body responds to words way faster than it does to touch. And most men mess this up by rushing, being too obvious, or sending pictures no one asked for. You don't get her naked by being aggressive. You get her naked by making her want to undress for you. If you want her on cam, wet and ready, giving you full access, then the seduction has to begin before the request. The text must feel like an invitation, not a command. It should hit her mind so deeply that her body follows without her realizing she's the one who escalated it. So how do you do it? You begin by giving her a fantasy, but not just any fantasy, one that's tailored, one where she is the star. You text her something like, I had a dream about you last night. You were wearing nothing but a silk robe, and the way you looked into the camera made me forget how to breathe. You see the difference? You didn't say send nudes. You created an image. You made her feel seen. You gave her a stage in your mind where she was already turning you on. And that's where the game changes. Now she's not just responding to you. She's feeling herself in your mind. She's curious, aroused, and already picturing how you're seeing her. That's when she starts typing back things like, oh, really? Tell me more. And that's your opening. Now you build it up. You drip the desire, piece by piece. You text something like, the way your fingers traced down your body in the dream, it felt so real. I woke up hard. Now she's not just reading, she's living it. And when you finally say, I need to see you, not just your face, but the you that I imagined last night, she doesn't feel disrespected. She feels desired. She doesn't feel exposed. She feels powerful, in control of your attention. That's the text that makes her open up. On cam, on her terms. But because you led her there, mentally, it's not about manipulation. It's about connection through curiosity, confidence, and restraint. The most powerful men aren't the ones who yell. They're the ones who whisper just enough to make a woman lean all the way in. You think turning her on starts with telling her what you want? No, it starts with knowing what she craves but won't say out loud. Every woman has a secret version of herself that only comes alive when the right words hit her mind. Most men never meet that version because they're too busy trying to rush into the physical. But the real game is in the psychology. If you know how to text like a man who understands her inner fire, she'll not only read your message, she'll feel it between her legs. You don't need to be vulgar to be dirty. You need to be vivid, specific, personal. You need to be the man who can make her drip before you ever touch her. So when you text her, don't say, I want you. That's basic. It's what every guy says. Instead, tell her what her body does to your mind. Say every time you post a photo, I wonder how soft your skin would feel if I pressed my lips right beneath your collarbone? Now her imagination is painting that picture. And once her mind is turned on, her body follows naturally. The more you guide her thoughts, the more she begins to lose control of them. Women don't fall for texts that just talk about sex. They fall for texts that feel like sex. Slow, teasing, building. That's the art. You don't go in screaming. You go in like a whisper that crawls along her skin. You send one message that gives her chills, another that makes her legs press together, and then one that makes her hands slowly slide beneath the sheets. And before you know it, she's turned her camera on without even thinking. Because now it's not about showing you something, it's about feeling something with you. It's not about insight, it's about feeling something with you. She wants to know you're not like the rest. She wants to know that when she gives you access to her body, it's because you earned access to her mind. So when you text, paint scenarios that sound like memories. Tell her how you imagine the way her lips would taste after she's just woken up, hair messy, nothing on. Tell her how it drives you crazy thinking about what she looks like from behind when she's walking away, wearing nothing but confidence. Tell her you want to see her, not just to stare, but to admire her in that raw, undone moment where everything is real and nothing is posed. That's when the clothes come off. The key is emotional penetration, not just physical lust. When your words make her feel like a goddess, a slut, a queen, all at once, she becomes addicted to the way you speak to her. You become a drug, and she needs her fix. That's when the cam turns on, not because you asked, but because she wants to. Because now the screen isn't a barrier, it's a bridge. And she's ready to cross it for you, because you didn't chase her, you awakened her. That's the kind of text that doesn't just get you attention, it gets you access. Access to the version of her that's rare, wild, unfiltered. The one that only shows up when she feels completely desired and deeply safe at the same time. There's a difference between turning her on and preparing her to surrender. Most men don't know how to build anticipation. They jump straight into desire without understanding tension. But the real power isn't in asking her to get naked, it's in making her want to. A woman undresses with her mind long before she does with her hands. And the man who understands that can control the entire experience without ever being in the same room. When you send her a message, you're not just using words, you're planting images. And if those images make her feel like the center of your craving, she starts to undress herself just to meet the vision you've created. The key isn't to say, I want to see you naked. The key is to say something that makes her feel naked in your presence, even if you're miles away. That's when she opens up, slowly, deliberately, almost involuntarily. She's not doing it to show off. She's doing it because your words peeled her layers off before she even noticed. Text her like this: if I was there right now, I wouldn't even speak. I'd let my eyes travel down every inch of you like I was reading my favorite story for the first time. That's not a compliment. That's an experience. That's seduction. You've now placed her in a moment she wasn't prepared for. She's in her room, her heart beating faster, suddenly aware of how her body feels in the silence. She's no longer reading your text, she's living inside of it. This is where most men fail. They go for the shock value, the graphic words, the direct commands. But the real ones, the ones that get her naked before you even walk through the door, know how to breathe inside her fantasies. You don't need to say what you want to do to her body. You need to make her feel what it would be like to be desired by you in silence, in tension, in slow, building need. That's the real heat. So you continue. You say, I wouldn't rush. I'd sit back and watch you take off your shirt one slow button at a time, and I'd memorize the sound of your breath changing. Now she's no longer just aroused. She's inspired. Inspired to give you more. Inspired to make you imagine her exactly how she wants to be seen. And when she replies with something like, that's not fair, you're turning me on, you've done it right, because now she's not playing defense, she's participating, she's creating the moment with you. By the time you arrive, she's already exposed. Not just her skin, but her intention. She's opened herself to the idea of you being close. She's already felt your words across her chest, your presence behind the message. That's what gets her naked before you knock. Because you made her feel like stripping wasn't just physical, it was emotional. It was psychological. It was a release of something she'd been holding on to. And your message gave her permission to let go. That's why you don't beg for nudes. You don't ask to see her body. You craft the moment so well that she wants to give it to you freely. You let your words trace her curves. You let your imagination lead hers. You make her feel like being naked for you is inevitable, like she was always meant to be seen by your eyes before anyone else's. That's the power of seduction through text. You get her mind undressed first, and the rest follows without resistance. If you want her clothes to fall off, you need to know how to speak to the part of her that undresses for pleasure, not pressure. Most men come on too strong, trying to force the door open instead of learning how to unlock it from the inside. A woman doesn't take off her clothes because you asked. She takes them off because you said something that made her feel like she needed to. Not for approval, not for validation, but because your words reached a part of her so deep that she didn't want to stay covered anymore. Texting is your most dangerous weapon if you know how to use it. One well-placed line can make her forget where she is, who's around, what time it is. She'll open your message again and again just to feel the rush one more time. Not because of what you said, but because of what you made her feel when you said it. That's the difference between an average guy and the one she undresses for.